to a Dynamics decision maker, what would you tell them is the best way to get the team started on Copilot if they've had no exposure yet?
When you're saying a Dynamics decision maker, are you thinking about a partner that is in the Dynamics world? Or are you talking
The
about
a
an end
cut,
customer that's using?
yeah, the customer that you were describing, actually, the customer that doesn't that has so far pushed it out so far, but have now realized like, okay, we should start looking at AI and Copilot.
Yeah.
Where should they start?
That's a very interesting question. I think the low-hanging fruit would be, and the easy, lazy answer would be to say, "Oh, go and start using these BC features in the BC Copilot features." But the reality is that is Copilot-y, but you're not actually doing anything to benefit from the AI. It's just a new feature, right? You're
Yeah.
start using a new feature, which is fancy, and you should. I think anytime there's some tool that allows you to do something quicker, faster, better, why not? You should do it. I think what I would tell them is start off first with a tool like Copilot for M365. Don't even think about Business Central.
Yeah.
Start off with these tools that help give you productivity gains, but also introduce you to some core concepts of how we communicate with a conversational AI agent today, and that is prompting.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's like if you remember, I don't remember, I hear about it, I'm sure you've heard about it. Back in the day, typists, they were in high demand. Typing was a skill. And then when I was a child in the 1980s, I remember people would learn Lotus 123 spreadsheets and word processor. And if you
Mhm.
knew that, that was the skill, right? And that made you computer literate. You literally put on your CV or your resume that you know Microsoft Office or whatever application
People
it was.
people still do that today.
Yeah, right. Yes, they do, right? And in some job markets, there's a need for that. We just live in the tech world, so this feels like it's laughable. But if you're not in the tech world, that is a skill. I absolutely should not be laughing at it. But I think prompting will become a skill. And if you are able to create a good prompt or understand what makes a good prompt, then you would be able to get more value and mileage out of whatever AI tools you use. So before you get into investing in a big AI solution, or even building your own AI solutions, start by understanding how do you talk to it. The beauty is you talk to it like a human, but the difference is sometimes in human communications, we stress being concise, which
Mhm.
is not one of my virtues sometimes. Right? It's like I used to get on my report cards, it always said, great student, but talks too much. And I'm sure your viewers have figured that out by now too. Uh, but in the AI realm, prompting, you could prompt with a few words, a few sentences, or a paragraph. It's not about how short it is about how well you explain your intent. It
Mhm.
is all about if you wanted to do complex things, you have to explain it well. You
Yeah.
know, get water in a bucket, short answer. Get water from this faucet in this bucket and fill to this line. In some cases, maybe that much description is not needed, but the more complex your use case is, the better you have to describe it. The more you can describe it. If you say, if the water is too hot, make it cool, that might serve a very valuable purpose based on what you're trying to accomplish with those instructions. So learn how to prompt, understand those techniques. Prompt engineering is a real thing.
Mhm.
Just like selling is not an art, prompting is not an art. I think there's a little bit of a science and madness to it. Start with those types of solutions. Copilot for M365, use those productivity tools, understand how you can prompt better to get the most value.
Yeah.
You will see then that there is benefits, and you will then start to say, the light bulb will go off, and you'll say, can we do this with these tools? Can we do this for our organization? And then all you may need a partner to do is simply stand up a Copilot agent that can do these, but your prompting skills will help you get the most out of that experience. And I
Yeah.
think that's what we want to move towards. So I'd say start small. Crawl, walk, run has always been great advice, no matter what age you live in, right? So crawl, walk, and run. Start crawling. Don't wait for that big AI solution to come in. Don't say we don't have the money to build an AI solution, so we don't need one. Start small. Microsoft did a fantastic work trend index or work trend study, I think late last year.
Yeah.
If I recall the specifics, about 250 people were invited to participate, and they did this over a period of maybe 8 weeks. And at the end of 8 weeks, they went through a lot of questions and whatnot. And one interesting question that they highlighted was the pizza question or free lunch question. would you trade would you trade a free lunch if your employer gave you one once a week for a license of Copilot Studio? Now, for context, Copilot for M365. For context, it's $360 a year.
Yeah.
It's like $30 a month, right? It's publicly published pricing today.
Yeah.
So $30 a month. For $30 a month, would you rather get free lunch or would you rather get a Copilot license? And they said, what about if you got 2 free lunches? What about if you got 4 free lunches? And overwhelmingly, people still preferred that tool because after they use it for 8 weeks, they don't want to give it up.
Yeah.
It probably gave them more time so they enjoyed their lunch a little bit more, right? It made them better, faster, meaner at their jobs. And I think sometimes those experiences can be that stepping stone. Once you realize it's a latent need, once you realize how important and valuable it is, then you won't want to go back.